And thanks to Dr. Zid Patwari. I think you can give a round of applause for Dr. Zid. Dr. Zid Patwari for organizing such a wonderful conference, and Mr. Mrik Dhawan, they are the man behind this wonderfully organized conference. Continuously for this is the third time. And maybe next time you can name it as Northeast International kind of conference. Right. Maybe invite some international guests also. I'm sure you are going to do that. Okay. Best compliments from my organization, GNRC Hospitals. This slide has no meaning. I am just putting this slide for the heck of it because I have learned recently that the word free grabs instant attention. So I hope you will be happy by seeing that word free. I am no Mukesh Ambani to give you free voice calls or anything, but Zid is not paying me anything, so my talk is free. Okay. So I am the odd man out, and it is really a privilege also to talk after Dr. Vascular. And now you know whom to ask all the questions after the talks are over. So my condition is like that mosquito actually, sitting on that mosquito repellent machine, trying to be very brave. Okay. There's a saying that be brave, even if you are not, pretend to be, no one can tell the difference. Okay. Why I am saying so, I am obviously nervous, very nervous, but if I am nervous, don't blame me, blame my neurotransmitters, okay? Like what Mahatma Gandhi used to say, don't hate the sinners, okay? Let me tell you a small story before I go on to my topic so that you become fully awake. Okay, it's a story about cars. I love cars, and as the stories go, once upon a time, a Tata Nano breaks down on a roadside. A BMW 750 Li stops to help the Nano. I will take you to the next station, next service station, but if I drive too fast, please flex your lights so that I know that you are going too fast. Okay, they start up slowly, but 1 kilometer or so, a Porsche speeds past at 150 km per hour. The BMW driver, when he saw the Porsche crossing him, he totally forgets about the Nano and guns it after the Porsche. So just as all three cars steers through a speed trap, a policeman, he reduced the headquarters, saying, calling all stations, you won't believe this. I just saw a BMW and a Porsche racing past at 190 km per hour with a Nano behind them, flashing its lights to overtake. So I am trying to be the Nano, speaking after Dr. Sundar. So now I am a hardcore clinician. Now why I got interested in the management, as our moderator sir has already said, nowadays we don't treat patients, we manage patients, okay? And whenever I used to go to my chairman to ask for an equipment, he was never convinced, okay? Then I thought, okay, I have to talk in his language, okay? So I have to learn how to talk, okay? So that's why I got my MBA and other management certificates, so that now I understand what is ROI. Okay, so now I go and talk to him about ROI, and then I tell him, sir, I need this instrument for this investment, for this return. So as sir has said, we should learn, all the doctors here, about the management part also, because it's very, very important, even in our departments, even our day-to-day kind of clinical practice also. So I'll be talking a little bit about this requirement and planning for hospitals, the manpower part. So in a typical hospital setup, expenditure on salary amounts to roughly 25 to 30% of total income, or 30 to 35% of total expenditure. Now this is not healthy statistics. Most hospitals are willing to operate with excess manpower. Okay, this is a fact. Now, as competition increases and margins come under pressure, hospitals will have no option but to rationalize manpower, which in other words would mean downsizing. Okay. Now, what is the optimum employee per bed ratio? A key to boost sustained profits. Ideally, employee to bed ratio should be 3 per bed. But 3 persons per bed could be a little stingy, so say some who find 4 to 5 persons per bed is more acceptable. So we should have 4 to 5 personnel against a single bed. Okay, that should be the ideal statistics. Now what is manpower planning? Okay, it's the right number of people. As Mr. E.W. Vetter, he was a big manager, so he said right number of people, right kind of people, at the right place, right time, doing the right things. Okay, so everything has to be right. Now, why do we need manpower planning? Okay, because we are always shortage of certain categories of employees, especially in a hospital in Northeast. We are always shortage of specialists and super specialist doctors. Everybody will agree with me, isn't it? So, we should have a plan. Okay, then there is always day-to-day advancements of medical science and technology, resulting in need for new skills and new categories of employees. So we have to employ newer employees in newer categories. Now there may be changes in organization design and structure affecting manpower demand. So now you open a new project, you need more employees. Okay. Then there are certain government policies also and labor laws. So you have to take care of those things also. Now it should be a kind of strategic planning. It's not kind of what usually happens. Once you build a hospital, then you start recruiting your personnel. But actually that should not happen. It should start even before you start building your hospital. It starts with the architect design of the hospital. I'll talk a little more on that. But it's not the way we do nowadays. So it should have a kind of a strategic planning. We should be able to forecast about the human resources. So the supply and the demand ratio, everything should be taken into consideration even before you start your hospital. Now the procedure. Initially, you'll analyze the current manpower inventory. You already have some certain people with you, so you will analyze them, making future forecasts, like how many people will require, maybe in 6 months or 1 year of time. There may be this planning, maybe short term for 2 years, or maybe say 5 years, long term. Okay. Now developing employment programs and designing training programs. So all this come under this procedure of manpower planning. There are many benefits. Okay, if the right person is at the right job, then half of your work is done. Then it provides scope for enhancements. It helps in anticipating advertisement and salary budgets. It foresees the need for redundancy and plan to eliminate it. There are a host of benefits. So you should concentrate on this less emphasized topic of manpower planning. And definitely it helps improving service to the patients. That is the sole criteria why we are opening the hospital, isn't it? So it really helps if you plan it to improve the service to the patients. Now there are many objectives for doing that, but always remember, as Zig Ziglar said, success is the maximum utilization of the ability of that you have. Okay, so you may be a very good doctor, you may be a very good manager, but nobody will give you any importance until and unless you show that you are successful. So success is the maximum utilization of your ability. So if you use your ability to the max, then you will be successful. There are various steps of manpower planning. I am not going into the details. You will first look into your own inventory, you will scrutinize the present personnel strength, then you will forecast what will be the manpower requirement, investigation of turnover of personnel. I will talk a little more on that, and planning job requirements and job description. So when you look at your own inventory, and this should be the cornerstone in manpower planning. You already have a hospital, you already have some certain people with you. So it helps in management development, it helps in determining training needs, it helps in optimum utilization of personnel. It's very important whether you are optimally using the person or not. And we require multitaskers in hospitals. Okay, the driver, he can act as a ECG technician also. If you have those kind of people, then nothing better than that. Okay, it helps in determining the exact number of personnel required and their skill levels. This anticipation or forecasting of manpower needs is very, very important. So you have to have, it involves taking an inventory of the existing personnel. We call it the in-stock personnel or in today, and what can be expected to be in stock tomorrow. So that anticipation or that forecast is very important. It is prepared every year for the next 5 years. Okay, it should be continued to perform. And its objective is to determine the number of personnel likely to be needed. So these are very important because every month, every year, we'll lose some personnel. They will resign. Somebody will be discharged. Somebody will be dismissed, and we'll recruit also. So that's why you need all these things. This manpower demand and supply forecasting, it usually are 3 types. The economic forecast, you have a budget, so you will employ this amount of people. This hospital's expansion forecast, suppose hospital is opening few hundred beds more, then definitely it's a you will require more people. then employees market forecast. Now this is a formula, it's a simple formula how to have some idea. Like say if you want to recruit one person who will work 5 days a week and 24 hours coverage, then you will require 1.4 people. Okay, suppose if you have a kind of number of people needed will be 2 working for 5 days, then 2.8 number of people will be needed. Now you have to calculate or take into consideration about the vacation days as well as kind of the relief days. Okay, so this is a formula, simple formula by which you can calculate how many people you will require. Now when you do manpower planning, there are 2 things which are very, very important to understand are this job analysis, and under job analysis 2 things come, this job description and job specification. Okay, these 2 things are very, very important. Job requirements is a long process. It consists of 5 steps: recruitment, selection, performance appraisal. You have to continuously appraise them, how they are doing, what is the problem, train and develop them, and then compensation management. So 2 things come under this job analysis. This job description. Job description means the responsibilities and the tasks, and job specification means capabilities of the people who holds that job. Even honeybees, they have this manpower planning. You see, there are queen bees, there are drone bees, and there are worker bees, isn't it? So why shouldn't we? So these are the steps by which we do this job analysis. I am not going into details. Job description is a broad statement of the purpose, scope, duties, and responsibilities. So job description is kind of the responsibilities, and job specification are the capabilities. And whenever you do job description, then you should, to avoid confusion and misunderstanding, a job description should be prepared jointly by the HRD team as well as with a concerned department head. Okay, never forget to do that. That will give you the optimum result. These are some of the guidelines I have collected from different sources. Like say for for doctors, so 1:5. For 5 days you require 1 doctor. For 5 patients you require 1 doctor according to the Indian Medical Council for teaching hospitals. For non-teaching it can be 1:10. Similarly for nurses 1:3 per bed, and for 25 beds you should have 1 ward sister. For 150 to 400 beds you should have 1 assistant nursing superintendent. For 401 to 700 beds you should have assistant nursing superintendent plus nursing superintendent, and you should always take into consideration this 30% leave reserve personnel. So in medicine words, you can have 1 nurse taking care of 3 patients, surgery same, casualty it should be 1:1, in ICU as well as coronary care unit, CCU also it should be 1:1, pediatrics it should be 1:4 if mother is allowed with the child, it can be 1:2 if mother is not allowed with the child. Obs-gynae 1:3, labor room 1:3, OT 2 nurses against each bed, ortho 1 nurse against 3 beds, well baby nursery 1:3, special nursery 1:1. For X-ray departments, ideally a X-ray technician in a shift should not do more than 30 X-rays because that is kind of, if you do more than that, then the quality will go down. The reporting will be kind of, the quality will go down. Similarly for physiotherapists in a shift, he should see only 25 patients per day, and for 7 assistant physiotherapists there should be 1 physiotherapist. For medical laboratories, 1 medical laboratory technologist should do only 35 tests. If he does less than 35 tests, that means he is underutilized. And if he does more than 35 tests, then there are more chances of getting it wrong. Okay, so these are important things that we should remember, and this should help us in recruitment or manpower planning. Similarly, pharmacy department, 1 pharmacist can dispense medicine to 150 patients per day in a shift, 8-hour shift. So 100 outdoor patients and 50 indoor patients. And if you have more than 7 pharmacists, then you will require 1 shift pharmacist. Similarly, these are some of the guidelines by which you can recruit people or plan your manpower or HR. Laundry, food service, sanitation, security, CSSD, ECG, hospital attendant, see, in one shift, one ECG technician should do 20 ECGs only. So there are many other factors on which your manpower planning will depend. Okay, we think that okay, if it is a 100-bedded hospital, then this should be the manpower. That is a wrong idea. Okay, there are many other factors on which you will do the manpower planning. Okay, type of hospital, that is very important. What type of hospital? It's a general hospital, it's a specialist hospital, it's a super specialist hospital, because the manpower planning will be different for each kind of hospitals. The setup, that is also very, very important. I'll give some examples. Even the structure of the building counts when it comes to manpower allocation. I'll give you some examples. Specialty hospitals, the number of employees depends not on the size of the hospital, but more on its specialty. Okay, if it is a neuro hospital or a cardiac hospital, maybe you would require more manpower. But if it is a general hospital, then probably you would require less manpower. Okay, setup, more classes of wards. Okay, more specialties, more classes of wards will require more manpower. Okay, so structure, as I have said, manpower planning, even like you have to do even before you start building your hospital. Hinduja Hospital, we all know, in Mumbai, it has more staff than other hospitals in Mumbai, because the building is designed to have 4 separate wings, as you can see in the picture. So a ward boy in one wing may not be able to give his best to all the wings on the same floor, so the staff increases. Okay, like I will give you one example about our hospital at North Guwahati. So that hospital is an ultra low cost hospital, and the whole architect of the hospital is built in such a way that we require less manpower. Okay, there is a central reception, big reception. The whole this entrance is very big, airy, and there is natural light, so we use less light. This is a green building. It has won an award in 2014 from the government of India as a green building. We use less power, less energy, because we have this bamboo paneling outside the structure, and it has a cooling effect, so we don't switch on the ACs. In fact, we do not have ACs in our OPD block. It is very airy, and light is very good because the back of the walls are totally full of glass. So you see, all this manpower planning should start during that stage, when you are going to build a hospital, when you are talking with the architect. So this is how, like as I have given you this example of this Hinduja hospital, why they require more manpower, because of the structure of the hospital. So it doesn't mean that you have 200. You have a 200-bedded hospital, you will require that amount of manpower. It is not. So everything depends on various factors, and setup or the structure is also one of the major factors. And you should have regular audit. Even healthcare personnel, even managers, they have kind of less awareness about this manpower audit, which must be carried out regularly. This is very, very important. Then this newer thing is coming up, human resource information system. It should be implemented if you have the facilities. It is the next thing going to come in. It has come in a big way. So because of this, you have many advantages. So if there is a HR manager and he doesn't like you, he cannot kind of take revenge on you. Okay, if you have this human resource information system, because whenever you are employing information system, IT, it becomes everything very transparent. So even the employees, they can upload, if somebody has gone to some conference and they have upgraded their knowledge and all, he can upload his certificate. Okay, everybody will see that. Okay, so everything is transparent, and any information on any employee, you just click a button and everything will come to you. Okay, so it's very important. Human resource information system. Multitasking, I was telling you, and how you can decrease the employee per bed. Employees per bed, already we have talked that 4 to 5 is the ideal thing, and effective utilization of manpower is done by creating multi-skilled or multitask personnel. So I'll give you one example. Like in any hospital, an ECG technician does the job of just taking the ECG, isn't it? In your hospital, and it is a male technician. If he's a male technician, he can see only male patients. He's not going to do ECG to a female patient, isn't it? So that way, you have to employ another female ECG technician or so. Okay. So the right way is to employ female employees or train nurses to carry out the same for full utilization of manpower. So that is how you are going to cut down on the kind of, or you plan the manpower. Okay. An example of multi-skilled employee is that a peon must have knowledge of computers, lift operation, vehicle driving, and handling patients. Okay. So like multitasking is the way to go. Okay. If you want to bring down or you want to plan according to the ideal conditions. Okay. Even class 4 staff may be given training and apprenticeship. Full orientation for computer application must be given to each and every employee. This will reduce manpower requirement. This is very, very important. Sometimes we outsource. Hospitals must explore services which can be outsourced, because by that way we can decrease that manpower. Okay, this 4 to 5 per bed, we have to maintain that to make the hospital profitable. Okay, and contracting some services can bring down manpower to 4 persons per bed. Okay, it's not that outsourcing is always good or it is cheap. Sometimes it can be expensive also. Traditionally, we outsource the security, laundry, housekeeping, food services, other things. But there are now emerging areas, even laboratory services, radiology, nursing. Already somebody has told about teleradiology. Okay, so so you can outsource your, it is much more expensive to keep a radiologist in-house. Maybe it is cheaper to outsource the radiology thing to a good radiology center. Okay. So these are some ideas I am throwing out, and this is the last thing before I conclude my this presentation. This investigation of turnover of personnel. Okay, this is very important. A study of labor turnover. Labor turnover means number of employees leaving your hospital and average number of employed. This high turnover is a bad thing. Okay, means more people leaving you is a bad thing. Okay, to the hospital authorities, that something is wrong with the personnel policies and practices of the hospital. You should avoid that. Okay, you should try to keep the personnel who are with you. Maybe you can empower them, train them, and make them multitasker like what I am proposing. A high rate of turnover not only costs in terms of money but also harms the reputation of the hospital. Okay, people do not like it. Okay, there are many reasons because of which people leave an organization, and most commonly it is the low salary. And in Northeast, we spend lots of money in marketing budget, but we do not pay our employees that well. Okay, I have seen nurses, they are being paid very peanuts. Okay, then there are some other aspects also. Not only not every time money is the leading factor why the one personnel has left. There are other factors also. I'll give you one example. In one of our employees, he was a very good, energetic employee. But suddenly he was coming late, he was not doing his job properly. So there was some reason, he was about to leave his job. Okay, when we inquired the HR, then we found that actually the main problem was actually a transport problem. So he was coming from Azara, it's a suburb of Guwahati. Every day he was coming to and fro from Azara to my hospital. So it was creating a havoc on him. Okay, he had a family. So next time when we wanted to give him a raise, we didn't give him the raise in terms of money, but we had given him a hospital accommodation, and that solved the problem. He again turned himself to that energetic young person that he was. Okay, so that's why you should that scrutinize why means what is the factor why people want to leave. This is one of the most important things. I think we never do this exit interviews. Once a person leaves, you should ask him why you are leaving. You should have an interview with that person, because when a person is leaving, he is very candid and he is willing to share why he is leaving. He is willing to share his bitter experience, so that you know about the weak spots. Sometimes a bad manager, his boss, an employee's boss is not good. Okay, he's always scolding or giving blame to him or something like that. Now all those things will come up if you do that exit interview. Okay, these weak spots are labeled, which can ultimately help to reduce turnover and in building the morale of the remaining employees in the hospital. This is very, very important. It's a feedback of an employee who is leaving. Okay, since I started my talk with a story, let me finish it with another one. So one interviewer, he asked, how long will you have to work to buy a BMW? The doctor said, I think I can buy one in 6 months of practice. The same question was asked to an MBA, and he said, I will need about 9 months of work. He asked the same question to an engineer, he said at least a year of work. Then he asked one of the entrepreneurs like yours, and he said, I think about 5 years. So the same question asked to these 4 persons. The doctor said 6 months, the MBA said 9 months, engineer said a year, and the entrepreneur said 5 years. Obviously, the interviewer asked, why so long? The entrepreneur said, well, it's a big company. Okay, so when we are thinking to buy a single BMW, the entrepreneur was thinking about buying the whole company. Okay, so think big. I wish all the health entrepreneurs a great summit. All the best. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. Thank you very much.